Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. One of the enduring themes in the world has been that China has rise as an economic superpower. People have believed that the Chinese superpower will one day replace America. In fact, in the book Why Nations Fail, Ray Dalio keeps on arguing that the end point for America has come and the global transition 100 years after 1920s to a point where the RMB one day will become the reserve currency of the world, and the dollar will not be the dominant currency in the world. And he paints a big picture of what is wrong with America, the clash between the right and the left, the lack of leadership, the inability of the Federal Reserve to run an honest monetary policy to crush inflation, and people looking for instant gratification instead of delayed gratification. All this is being pointed out as a huge problem, and that China, with its discipline and muscle, will come one day to dominate the world. There is nothing to argue against what Ray Dalio says. China has got enormous success. China is a $16 trillion economy. Its rival India is a $2.7 trillion economy. Even by growing at 5%, almost three-fourths, an economy three-fourths the size of India is being added every year in China. The size of China's military budget is greater than the entire budget of India, and therefore China seems to be the only country that can challenge the might of the Americans and the mighty American dollar. Do I think this is going to happen? No, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't agree with Ray Dalio that RMB in the short term will replace the currency of choice, that is the US dollar. Why do I think so? As Ray Dalio has himself pointed out, in the arc of history, there are three major countries in the known world which have dominated as reserve country. One is the Dutch guilder, and from Dutch guilder the British pound took over, and from the British pound it was after 100 years of domination, it was the turn of the US dollar. All these countries were liberal democracies. There was a constitutional monarchy in England, but it was continuously moving towards liberalism. And today, England is too liberal for its own good. Holland has also been remained a liberal society and moved towards liberalism. And it is the first steps of liberalism it took, that it gave so much importance to education and importance to markets. That is why Amsterdam became the first financial market of the world. In all these cases, while even it was a major power, and even when it has declined as a major power, the might and the power of the state has continuously declined. The state cannot have its own way, and there cannot be any arbitrary rules made in these countries. The citizen's voice must be heard, and the citizen has been very powerful. These countries have been a liberal democracy and continuously moved forward. If you look at the 1800s in England, England continuously expanded its democracy and several reformation bills were passed. This meant that the people of England trusted in the British pound, the people of the United States trusted their dollar, and the people of Holland trusted their guilder. In this way, nobody tried to take their money out of England, nobody tried to take their money out of US, nobody tried to take their money out of Holland. These citizens were secure in keeping their assets where they were. The only time they moved their money was in search of tax havens. It was never the case that the citizens and businessmen took their money and kept it away in different places because of overreach by the state. This is not true of China. China has become a major force in the world and is a major economic power. Nobody has reached such dizzying heights quicker in the history of the world except China. But the problem with China is as follows: the Chinese have a very weak financial system. For you to be a reserve currency, you should have an open and a strong financial system where the central banker plays the final arbiter. You should have very strong regulators who act independent of the state. This gives financial market strength. In the case of China, its stock market is very weak. In fact, on a recent article, Jonathan Andrews, an economist, argues that China should not even be considered as an emerging market, let alone as a superpower, because of the simple reason that foreign ownership of Chinese stocks is now down to 5%. That is, in the entire Chinese universe of stocks, only 5% is owned by foreigners. There is no cash flow into China for purchasing stocks. And this is the reason that Chinese markets are at a historic low and valuations are extremely poor. This is because foreigners no more trust China and they don't trust the Chinese government. They don't trust the Chinese government simply because of its ham handed policy and the way it has taught these tech companies, which it felt it could not control, a lesson. The way Jack Ma was treated, harassed, and went out of sight has all spooked and rattled foreign investors out of China. And therefore, the Chinese stock market is extremely weak and shallow. The very fact remains the Chinese people and the Chinese elite themselves do not trust the renminbi. This is why, in fear of retribution by future rulers, most Chinese upper middle class families have stashed most of their money abroad in Swiss bank accounts. When Xi Jinping became president, he introduced capital controls and made sure that Chinese cannot send their money abroad. But money being fungible, the Chinese found innovative ways of sending money abroad. The rise and fall of Bitcoin can also be seen through the lens of the Chinese way to buy Bitcoins in China and sell them in America as a way of smuggling money abroad. When the Chinese got wise to it, they clamped down and became the first country to ban trades in cryptocurrency. Though Chinese could mine bitcoins, they could not trade them. For some time, there were two rates for bitcoins, one in China, one outside the world, because bitcoin was in big demand in China and being sold somewhere else. This was basically money fleeing China. If foreigners don't want to own your assets, if your own people don't want to keep money in your own currency, how do you expect the rest of the world to keep your currency? Out of the global reserves, the Chinese yuan is 3%. This is because most African and Asian countries like Pakistan have taken money from China in various initiatives and are keeping a portion of their money in Chinese yuan. But serious analysts know that from 3%, China's yuan is not going to go far. The Americans will not touch yuan. The Indians will not trust yuan. There is no way without Indian and American acceptance that yuan is going to become a global currency. Sorry, Mr. Dalio, you are wrong. Thank you for watching Be Rich. If you like this content, kindly hit the like button and press the subscribe button to my channel. Turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not receive notifications when we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for my support of Be Rich. I have written two books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.